Welcome back to another video. My name is Kyle and I suck at budgeting. So in the last video I talked about my web hosting issue. And I thought I would tell the story for those that are interested. I know that there are some tech people out there that watch my channel, and I thought I would kind of tell you what's going on. So it's a long story. It starts back in about 2005 or so. I was working for a computer store for a friend of mine. They're actually the reason I moved out to Ohio. So I was originally in New York, and lived there most of my life. They moved out here several years later. I followed them out. But while they were there, they had a computer store. And while I was there, I learned how to do like web design and a whole bunch of other things, CSS, and how to submit your website to Google for search and web crawling and all that sort of stuff. And so back in those days, we used I think they were Network Solutions. Was that the name of the company that was our web host? And I used them for a couple of years. And as happens in the tech field, something happens. Someone either goes rogue or the company's bought out and the product suffers. Well, fast forward about 18 years and it's happening again. So about 18 years ago, I switched to a company called HostMonster. At the time, they were an up-and-coming company. They were very highly rated, and I used them for 18 years. They were fantastic. I had no issues. I mean, every once in a while, I had a weird email issue. My SSL certificates didn't always update, and whatever you call, they update them, and it's fine. Very rarely was there an outage. I mean, they were just so fantastic. And about a year or so ago, I got an email that said, hey, we were bought out by Bluehost, or they're merging with Bluehost, whatever. And about 2 months ago, I got an email that said, hey, we are now going to migrate you over from the HostMonster cPanel over to the Bluehost cPanel, and you will be officially transitioned to Bluehost. And we all rejoiced for a few weeks, not even. Because about a week later, my website was hacked. So after 18 years of no issue, my website was hacked, which I thought was kind of weird. So I called up, and for those that don't know what web hosting is, let's start there, because you might not know. When you want to have a website, what you need first is a domain. So I have my name. I've got a couple other domains that I have that I use for a podcast, for this, for that, lots of things. After you have that domain, your website needs to live somewhere. So that's what a web host is. It's where your website lives. Bluehost was my web host. Back in the day in 2005, GoDaddy didn't have a hosting plan, I don't think. And if it was so minimal, it was like not even worth it. Now they have their own hosting plans and whatever. So anyway, 18 years I've been with Bluehost, and they were bought out by HostMonster. Let's not get those wrong. It was with HostMonster. Bluehost bought them out. As soon as the cPanel switched over to the Bluehost cPanel, website hacked. So I called them up and I was like, hey, so I didn't know it was hacked at the time. All I knew was I could not access my website. I could not access my email. So I called them up. I was like, oh, maybe it's just an outage, but whatever. So they told me that there was malware found on my site and it needed to be fixed. So they send you a list of files. I went through this list of files. It was 190 files. Removed them all, cleaned it all up. It was fine. It was a pain in the neck because you remove the files and you have to request a scan, and then the scan finds more stuff because it stopped scanning in the middle. And it was ridiculous. It was not a fun process. It took me an entire weekend to go through and clean up this mess. And while I was there, I happened to hit the wrong prompt at one point, and I got to their security department because it's a security issue, right? And the guy was telling me, oh, what you should do is you should, buy into our product called SiteLock, I think is what it's called. And I don't know whether my old plan had SiteLock included. I have no idea. I mean, whatever. It is what it is at this point. But he said it costs $350 per domain. And I have like 7. Um, so it's going to cost like $2,000 a year for this. For these fun little stupid bloggy projects that I had that don't generate any cash, like at all. Plus the hosting service, which is $215 a year on top of that, which I thought was ridiculous anyway. So I got it cleaned up, and my email works great for like 2 weeks. And it gets hacked again. And I go through the whole process again. I knew what the process was this time. I cleaned it up, and it was fine for another couple weeks. And then last week I got an email from Google Search Console, and basically it said that there was some malicious files on my site. I assumed it was from one of the previous things, and it just didn't catch up to the scan or whatever. And so I thought it was old. So I went through, found out that it was an issue, removed the issue, and then got an email this morning that said, there is a phishing site on your website that needs to be removed within 24 hours. Otherwise, we're going to suspend your account. And I called up and they gave me the whole spiel again. Oh, you got to do this. You got to have this. And you got to pay us more money and this. And I was like, how is it possible that my stuff was fine for 18 years? 18 years. You have my stuff for a month and it breaks. And then you ask for more money. And not even like, oh, it's $40. $2,000 is what you asked me for. $2,000. Ridiculous. So I spent the day migrating, for now, my email accounts over to the Gmail, and it pains me, but it's being done. It pains me because I don't have an easy way to back up the 18 years of emails that I have stored at my current web host. Because I saved everything. I mean, everything is in there. Everything. For the last 18 years. I think that's what bothers me the most. Like there's a bunch of files and stuff that I was able to download and back up that are important to me, that I kept up there. When I was in high school, I toured through Sweden, and I have video files that I was sharing with the rest of my friends that went to Sweden with me, so we could watch the concerts that we gave, while we toured through Sweden. We sold out 4 cathedrals in Sweden when we were there. Really cool stuff, but I had to pull it all down, and I don't know what I'm going to do to put him back up, because I do want to have him back up. I'll figure something out. But yeah, it just sucks, and this is kind of, I've talked about it on my podcast that I do with a buddy of mine, how much I hate technology sometimes. It's just, there's a point in time where it's like we rely on it for so many things, and there are people out there who just abuse it. Like my site, like it was literally videos of me in cathedrals when I was in high school. That's what my website was. And it's hacked. It's ridiculous. I don't make money off of it. It's just it was an easy way for me to share this stuff with my friends, because when I got those videos back in the 90s, YouTube wasn't around. And when I did get around to making the videos and converting them, there was a file size limit on YouTube. There was a duration limit, and I couldn't upload the whole thing. So I just hosted it on my own website because it was easier. Now I can just throw it up on YouTube, whatever. But it sucks. It just sucks. So yeah, that's where I'm at. That's the story. It sucks. And I suck at budgeting. Make sure you watch that video about why I do suck at budgeting, because it involves this story. So if you missed that video, make sure you check that one out. All right. Moving forward, we have a video coming up in about a week or so. That is going to be our first paycheck of the month of June. And then we can go from there. This is hopefully Jeep payoff month. So moving forward. Have a good one. See ya.